Hi, and welcome in to the UMBC Ryan Odom Basketball Report. Gary Stein, along with UMBC head coach Ryan Odom. A little later in the show, we'll chat with John Feinstein, my broadcast partner, about all things NCAA basketball and the greatest sports stories from 2018. And we'll also meet one of the most athletic players on Ryan's squad. It's forward/center Daniel Otkin. But first up with Coach Odom. Welcome back in. How are you?
Doing great.
Good to see you. Happy New Year to you too, right? Everything good with your New Year's Eve plans and everything?
Yeah, it was good. I got to spend some time with the family, so it was good. Connor's back in town, so it's been fun.
Good, I'm glad. Let's talk a little bit about UMBC basketball. 8-7 as we stand. Let's go back to the Penn State game for just a moment. 74-52 up in University Park, Pennsylvania. Just talk a little bit about that game and what you were able to accomplish from that.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot, honestly. I mean, Penn State's a very good team.
They are.
They've had some solid wins this year, and they had some really close losses against excellent competition. So, you know, we knew it was going to be a tough battle going in. Anytime you go into a Big Ten team's home, it's not an easy situation to attack. They had a very good crowd, you know, that was there for them on that particular day. And I thought our guys started out the game very well. You know, it was 23-23. I think Jose came off the bench. He gave us some good minutes there and gave us a little spark. And unfortunately, we did not finish that half, you know, the way we would have liked to have, and ended up down 40-27. And it was kind of, you know, pretty much an even ball game from then on. And but, you know, there were some things certainly defensively that, you know, I liked. There were some things offensively that I liked about how we played. You know, and I think there's always, you know, areas for growth and opportunities to learn.
Mm-hmm. That last 5 minutes of the first half, I wouldn't say it's been a theme of the first 15 games of the year, but you could sort of see a little bit of a pattern. Is that a concern, or have you addressed that with the team at all?
It's always a concern. You want to play your best basketball throughout a half, and certainly, you know, coaches will talk about how do you start the game.
Right, the first 5 minutes.
Yeah, how do you finish the first half?
Right.
How do you begin the second half? And then obviously,
close the game.
You got to close it out at the end. So all those you know, parts or points in the game are really, really important. And when you struggle to score like we have this season, you know, it becomes extremely important to stay within striking distance. And we haven't shown the ability to have the spurts that we had necessarily last year. And, you know, I think we'll get there. You know, the offense will clearly improve. I like some of the shots that we're getting. They're just not going down. And, you know, I think, you know, it was good the other day. We played pretty well offensively and got some shots to go down. But in the Penn State game, they're a stingy defensive team. They really are. They force hard shots. They switch effectively. They fill the lane up so it's hard to get inside of their defense. And so I thought our guys did a pretty nice job of moving the ball and trying to search for shots.
So that Penn State game was on the 29th of December. You guys had a fairly quick turnaround to the 31st of December when Centenary came into town. But they had a really quick turnaround because they were playing 3 games in 3 days. Yeah. Just talk a little bit about that game and what you were able to accomplish there.
Yeah, the mindset for our team right now is it's not about the opponent. You know, it's about us trying to improve and get better. You know, our goal for sure has always been to be playing our best basketball at the end of the season when it matters most. When the lights are on, you get in the playoffs and you got to play well to survive and advance or not. And, you know, we want to be a well-oiled machine at that point. And, you know, for us right now, we're a work in progress. We're still improving, though. I'm seeing it every day. We're watching lots of film. We're getting extra shots. And so I like the team's mood.
Talk to me a little bit about your backcourt. You've kind of flip-flop positions. R.J. Idle-Rock, the freshman, is now at the point. K.J. Jackson, the junior transfer, is on the off guard. Yeah. Why was that choice made, and what's happened since then?
Yeah, we wanted to try to get K.J. out in transition some, or we could ball ahead to him. You know, we wanted to get him off the ball. He's a really good scorer, and we wanted to get him off the ball. It doesn't mean he's not going to have it. You know, it's very similar to what Jarris had last year. If he rebounded it, he would go. And we're doing the same thing with KJ. You know, if he rebounds the ball, which he does, he's a good rebounder, then everybody else knows to kind of get ahead. He'll take it at that point in transition, because that's when he's at his most dangerous. But in terms of set plays and things like that, you know, RJ's doing a nice job. He's a very safe player. And Jose's doing a nice job coming off the bench as well.
In the front court, you get Dan Otkin back, and we'll speak with Dan in a couple of minutes. What does he give you that you didn't have before?
Yeah, he gives you a physical presence, you know, around the rim. He gives you max energy on every play. He's becoming a more skilled player where you can throw it into the post to him and he can come up with baskets, or he can make the right read and decision to get it back out. He's just a reliable, tough guy and an excellent defender. I mean, he really guards big guys and guards, he can guard different players.
Mm-hmm.
He's a very versatile defender. And so he means a lot to our team. I mean, he was one of the keys to our success, last year. And we missed that, the first 12 games. And certainly his experience on the court, is huge.
He's got 11 offensive rebounds, by the way, in 88 minutes of action.
Wow.
It's a pretty good average. Before we leave the team and then kind of look at the America East Conference a little, Max Curran, what's the situation with him right now?
Yeah, we're just still kind of in a holding pattern to see if it's going to heal properly and test it out with some sort of soft cast to see if he can, work his way back in there. We haven't determined are we going to do the surgery yet or not. And we wanted to give it time to at least have a chance to heal a little bit to see if he could give it a go before going ahead and having the surgery.
Right.
If he has a surgery, chances are he's probably out for the remainder of the season. So we didn't want to do that given how far along we are in the year already.
Right.
And Max understands it is his left hand, so you never know what can happen.
So basically, we're at about the halfway point. You guys are 8-7 after non-conference play. You start conference play. I'm sure you tell them, hey, we're 0-0, and it's a new season. But what's your message to the team right now? How do you parse through the first 15 games and tell them what's happened and where we go from here?
Yeah, I mean, I showed them the other day. I went through year 1 here at UMBC, year 2 here at UMBC, and then now year 3. In the non-conference season, we were 9-4 in the first year. We were 9-6 in the second year. We were 8-7. So in the grand scheme of things, it's not very much different. The key for us now is what do we do as conference play begins? And so you're right. Every team does start 0-0. The year 1 did, year 2 did, and now year 3 is. And all the other teams are in the same boat. And so it's a refreshing thing. We know it's a competitive league that we're playing in. We've got some teams that are playing great basketball right now that we're going to have to deal with. And one of them's coming in here on Saturday. And, I think the guys are just excited about, the opportunity to play against some familiar teams.
Sure. Quick thought on Maine. We've got about 60 seconds left. Yeah. They are the team that you're talking about. They've had some close losses. They actually play Brown before they come into UMBC. Talk a little bit about what they bring.
Yeah, Coach Barron is new coach there at Maine, and obviously not unfamiliar with the territory there, as he was the women's coach at Maine prior. And he's done a great job, so far with their team. As I watch them, they play under control. They've got a clear focus, on offense and defense of what they're trying to get accomplished. It's going to be a tough game. We had tough games with Maine last year and the year before as well. They've got a good amount of players back from last year's team. Key guys that started, good minutes. They've got the kid Easy back from
Vincent Easy.
Yeah, from year 1 now, who started every game that particular season, along with Fleming and then White, and then they've added some nice pieces there, to go along with those guys. So it'll be a fun game.
Just as an aside, that's not the easiest place to recruit to.
Yeah.
12 of their 16 players are born on foreign soil.
Yeah.
So they've gone far and wide to find the roster that they need to.
Makes sense.
Absolutely. Okay, we'll take a timeout here. When we come back, John Feinstein will join us, my broadcast partner. We'll talk about all things America East, UMBC, and the sport of college basketball when the UMBC Ryan Odom Coaches Report continues right after this.
Respect is hard work. Respect is dedication.
Respect is earned on the court or on the field.
Respect doesn't judge based on sexual orientation or gender identity.
Respect is being the first conference to partner with the You Can Play project.
And the first conference in the LGBT Sports Safe Founders Club.
Respect coaches, players, and the game.
Respect similarities.
Respect differences.
Spread respect.
Spread respect.
Spread respect.
And welcome back to the UMBC Ryan Odom Basketball Report. Gary Stein, along with UMBC head coach Ryan Odom, now joined on the phone by my broadcast partner and New York Times bestselling author John Feinstein. Happy New Year, my friend. How are you?
Happy New Year to all of you. I'm just fine and looking forward, as I'm sure you and Ryan are, to getting into conference play on Saturday.
We absolutely are. Before we do that, though, how was the Feinstein clan New Year's Eve celebration?
Well, it actually worked out very well, Ryan. You probably weren't paying attention when Gary and I were talking talking on air about our New Year's celebration. We went to Congressional, where it's a special New Year's Eve dinner for families with younger kids.
Oh, nice.
And they dropped the ball, quote unquote, at 9 o'clock.
There you go.
Which is supposed to be for the kids, but was ideal for me.
Perfect.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And instead of playing Old Lang Syne, they played YMCA by the Village People, which is fabulous.
Isn't it amazing? The older you get, you don't ever make it to 12 o'clock.
No.
I gave up years ago.
I know.
When I was in college, I did the Times Square thing once, and my only memory of it is how desperately I needed to pee once New Year's finally came. That was the first thing I did in the new year.
And it's really hard to get to those porta potties, John. Absolutely.
Oh, God. Well, back then, they didn't even have
them.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I actually...
been invented.
Right. Hey, I actually didn't do too bad. I made it all the way to like 11:40 this year. Next thing I knew, my wife wakes me up. It's 1:30, and I said, "How come you didn't wake me up for the ball?" She said, "I tried. You just didn't get up."
Yeah, probably not worth the effort.
Hey, speaking of the year in general, 2018, now we have a chance. Let's just look back for a minute at the greatest sports stories from 2018, John. In your opinion, maybe top one or two, and where does the UMBC victory over Virginia rank in there?
Well, it was right up there for me. Probably for Ryan, too, I would guess.
Yeah.
As we've discussed before, I still remember sending Ryan a text the morning after that game, saying I had this incredible dream last night that you guys beat Virginia by 20. And apparently I wasn't the only person who had that dream.
No.
I'll say this, though, that the ending, if we're going to stick to UMBC for a second, the ending of the game at Vermont, the championship game at Vermont, was really far more dramatic as a basketball game. I think you guys were down 8, Ryan, in the second half.
Yeah, it might have been 9.
Came back. Jarris hits the shot. First win in 23 attempts, I think, or 24 attempts against Vermont to get back to the NCAAs. That was an incredible story, regardless of what happened in the Virginia game. But then to do what the guys did against Virginia was one of the most memorable basketball games I've ever watched. And reminded me of some. I actually was in the building the first time a 15 beat a 2 in 1991 at Cole Fieldhouse when Richmond beat Syracuse.
Right.
And I had written a column prior to that game in the now long dead National Sports Daily, saying that Dick Tarrant, the Richmond coach, was the second best bench coach in the tournament behind only Bob Knight. And that Boeheim was one of the worst bench coaches in the tournament.
Oh, my God.
And Jim walked over to me in the press conference after that game. It was one of those late starts like your start, Ryan. And he says, what really makes me mad about losing this game is now some people are going to think you know something about basketball. So other moments in sports, boy, I'd have to think about it for a minute. The Eagles beating the Patriots in the Super Bowl was certainly dramatic, and especially since the Eagles had never won a Super Bowl. Very little drama at the Final Four. Villanova was clear-cut the best team. Europe crushing the United States in the Ryder Cup, certainly memorable. Maybe not a happy memory if you're an American golf fan.
Notre Dame women's basketball.
There you go.
Open final, certainly memorable. Tiger Woods' comeback was a big deal.
Yeah.
So all those things come to mind. And I thought, by the way, that Sports Illustrated choosing the Warriors as the Sportsman of the Year, I guess they now call it Sports Person of the Year, was a great choice because the Warriors stood for so much more than just being a winning basketball team.
John, what kind of college basketball season have we had so far, in your opinion?
That's a great question. It's hard to say much before you get into conference play.
Right.
Of course, Duke was awarded the national championship after it beat Kentucky on that opening night game, 34 or something like that. There were guys on television who allegedly knew something about basketball, saying they could beat the Cavaliers. Somebody forgot to tell Gonzaga about that, apparently. But I think what we know is that this season, what I believe we know, is that this season is like most others in the last 10 years, 20 years maybe even, that there's no dominant team. There are some very good teams. team. Kansas is a very good team. I think Tennessee is a very good team. They and Gonzaga are very experienced teams, and I still like those more experienced teams. If you look back in the one-and-done era, for all the publicity that these freshmen get, most of it from TV people, the teams that end up winning national championships are usually teams that are built around upperclassmen. Villanova last year, built around upperclassmen. North Carolina the year before, same thing. Villanova in 2016. Now, Duke in 2015 did have 3 important one-and-dones, but they don't win that national championship without their 3 seniors, Quinn Cook, Emile Jefferson, and Marshall Plumlee. Again, if you're looking toward March, I still look at the more experienced teams as being the ones that are most likely to cut down a net in April.
I would add Virginia to that, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Yes, and I meant to add Virginia.
Yeah.
And maybe that was a Freudian slip. I saw Virginia play a very good VCU team in person a few weeks ago in a snowstorm in Charlottesville. I don't know why I made the drive. I'm an idiot. But I'm very impressed with their team. And they've got a little point guard out of Oakland, California, who reminds me, Ryan, just a little bit of KJ Mora.
Yeah.
He's an absolute pest on the ball. He's very heady. He gets them into their offense, and he's not forcing shots. I think he's an addition to that team that I think might, and again, with the motivation of remembering what happened to them last year, I think they're a real threat. Again, a veteran team mostly in March and April.
I got a little known fact about that young man. I can't remember his name. Is it Clark? Is that his last name?
Yes, Clark.
Yeah. Anyway, he played.
Ethan Clark, I believe it is.
Yeah, he played in AAU for the Oakland Soldiers with none other than Jack Schweitz.
That's
Wow.
right.
Yeah.
And James Akinjo, the point guard at Georgetown right now.
That's right. That was kind of their
And Tony
backcourt,
Bennett
those
was
3 guys.
actually in Oakland looking at Akinjo and saw, it was one of those deals. He goes to look at one player, comes away in love with another.
Yeah. Really good player. They actually won the Peach Jam that year. So Jack Schweitz is a champion.
Mm-hmm.
And Jack
Interesting.
Schweitz showed us some serious game on Monday, didn't he?
He did. He played well. Yeah, he really
Played
did.
very well. I didn't realize he could play that effectively on the perimeter because I just hadn't seen him for that many minutes until Monday.
Yeah.
Coach John and I were making a comment during that broadcast. It's interesting to see most of the times when you envision 2 brothers playing college basketball, they're usually of the same build, the same type of player. It's interesting to watch the 2 different Schweitzes and how different they are.
Yeah, they really are. I mean, Jack certainly is more of a guard, and Sam's, kind of the bruising, forward inside, and you need both to win games. That's the cool thing. That's why it's neat for both of them to be able to play here, together. It's a unique experience.
Yeah.
Not everybody gets that one.
Yeah.
A little different than those twins you faced against Hood, right? You
Yeah.
couldn't tell apart.
Those little guys
still
were
can't
good
tell
too,
them.
man.
Evan and Mason, I believe.
I love those little kids.
Yeah. Hey, John. Let's move over to the America East real quick, and we kind of touched on it during the centenary broadcast, but just give us your overall thoughts of the conference. That it's not as highly ranked as they were last year, but they do have a lot of the teams do have some impressive wins so far this season.
Yeah, no question, and probably not as highly ranked because Vermont was so highly ranked throughout the regular season last year because they were so good. But Stony Brook, as you mentioned during the broadcast, has certainly had a bunch of impressive wins, and I don't know about you, Ryan. I was stunned by Hartford's win.
Yeah.
The other
Boston
night.
College. Yep.
Yeah, I mean, what a great win,
against Boston in
for Gal.
overtime. And we knew going into the season that Hartford should be good because they were so improved last year and they had most of their players back, but they've been a little disappointing. But it looks like they're coming around at just the right time for conference play. I'm sure you're delighted to have to go up there next week, Ryan.
Yeah.
But I think Lowell, I don't know what you coaches were thinking picking them ninth.
I didn't pick them ninth.
Yeah, I must have missed something because I think they're pretty good.
Lowell gave us all we could handle last year.
And I think it's going to be. I think it's going to be one of those deals where it's very possible that at season's end, nobody will have fewer than 4 losses and nobody will have fewer than 4 wins.
Yeah, it could be one of those years. Yeah, I mean, I think it's definitely evened a little bit, from from that perspective. But, Vermont, it's still going to go through Vermont at this point. They've played extremely well. They've got, a go-to scorer inside. Stony Brook's had some great wins. Hartford, I think they're a little bit like us last season. They have an experienced group. We went through, some injuries and stuff like that early in the season last year and had some tough losses. And I think they're kind of in a similar situation, but they're rounding into form now. They're going to be a tough out for anybody, whether it's home or away. And last year, if you remember, they won a ton of games on the road in conference.
Yeah, they did. They might have had the best road record in the league other than Vermont.
Yeah, and that's how you find a way to kind of be in the mix, at the end for a regular season championship. You got to be able to win on the road. And so they've certainly shown that. I've been impressed with Lowell and the wins that they've had. I've seen that they've been down at the end of games and come back and won. They've been well out in front and held the lead. And, I think Albany played at Kent, a great Kent State team the other day, and it was tight. I think it was a 2-point game, there to finish it out. So,
and Albany's always a tough out.
Yeah.
No matter what, they're going to pound you physically. And Will Brown's an experienced coach, and they're another team that plays well on the road. So I think their record is a little bit deceptive at this point, like Hartford's is.
Yeah, Binghamton was down 4 or 5 or something like that at Michigan, at halftime. So I think we're in for a great America East year.
I think we could all agree. John, it's been a pleasure. We'll see you Saturday afternoon.
I'll be there before noon, and I am hoping Ryan will return my call on Friday.
Well, we shall see.
He was tied up legitimately last Sunday because he had kid duty, so
Gotcha.
I gave him a pass on that.
There we go.
John, thank you so much, my man.
All right, see you Saturday.
Speak soon.
John.
Speak to you Saturday.
Thanks.
That is John Feinstein, my broadcast partner on the ESPN broadcast for UMBC basketball. We'll take a time out here. When we come back, we'll meet Sophomore forward Dan Ocken will join us when the UMBC Ryan Odom Coaches Report continues right after this. And welcome back to the show. Gary Stein along with UMBC head men's coach Ryan Odom, and now joined by number 30, sophomore forward / center Dan Ocken from London, England. Welcome in. How are you?
Thanks for having me. I'm great. How are you doing?
Nice to see you. Thank you. Happy New Year to you.
Happy New Year.
John Feinstein and I have talked a lot about you on the broadcast, even though you've only played about 4 games this year so far. You missed the first 11 games. But your story is really an interesting story. And I just, if we could take a minute, you're from London, England, but tell us, you've only been playing basketball for about 4 years now. What's your basketball journey been like so far?
It's just been like super speed, basically. So started when I was 16, and then I decided to take it more seriously at the age of 16. And then I just met different coaches. And I met Lloyd, who's great friends with Ryan Odom right now. And then that's basically how it started, and got in contact with Ryan Odom. Now we're here.
So what are you, 20 years old now?
Yeah, I'm 20.
Okay, so he's been playing for 4 years. So how did you find him?
Yeah, I'd actually been over to Barking Abbey to London recruiting in previous years prior to Dan arriving at Barking Abbey, and he chose to go to a prep school. Like he told you, he wanted to get more serious about the game. And, they have like a boarding school kind of situation, and, they play there and go to school there, and it's a great school. They play against really good competition. It's the best kind of competition league in England. It's just outside of city center London, or whatever you want to call it. You take the tube right out there and head out and watch them. But I got a chance to go out there and see a couple of kids in years past when I was coaching elsewhere. And then when I got the job here, called about any potential candidates for guys that we should try to recruit. Lloyd said, I got a guy for you that kind of fits that. And I went over there to see him and got a chance to meet Dan and watch him play, with the other players. And ironically, RJ was there at the same time.
Right, we'll talk about that.
Yeah, so I got a chance to see him as well. And the more I began to talk to Dan and, his family, I began to realize, like, it's more than just basketball with him. Like, he's a great guy. He's committed academically to doing really well. But he wants to be really good in basketball, too. And he's got a bright future.
Mm-hmm.
And it didn't come easy for him when he first got here. He wasn't able to, do a ton of summer school like most kids. And, he did the second session, right, of summer school. Mm-hmm. And so he got a chance to kind of get his feet wet with the guys, for a few months. And then, school started. And like I said, it didn't come easy. It wasn't like he was inserted into the starting lineup right away. He had to earn it. And, by and large, he for sure did. And once he grabbed that position, he kind of hasn't looked back since then. And unfortunately for him, he was dealt an injury when he went home to play for this, for his national team. And, that was some hard luck there. But he's recovered greatly from it. Mm-hmm. And he's playing really good ball right now.
So take me back to when you were 16 years old and you started to take basketball a little bit more seriously. It's not like you were an athletic. You were a very good athlete. You were a high jumper, a handball player.
You're the champion, right?
Yeah.
The
tell us about all the athletic exploits before basketball.
You set any records?
Yeah, for my age group, yeah. So definitely, obviously, growing up in England, so you have to play football or soccer.
Right.
So that was the start. And then transitions to handball. That was a bit of fun. And then to track and field, which was like, I did high jump. And I had like the record age group was under 15s. And then...
What was it? What was your...
it was like 203. That's in meters. I don't know the conversion.
I can't do that.
Joe, where's Joe? All right.
Right, exactly.
And then, as like, I don't know why, but I got bored of doing it. So obviously, I was like 6'6", 6'7", so I was like, maybe just take basketball a bit more seriously and see where we can go.
And then you grew.
Yeah.
Right. So wait. So you started playing basketball and you were 6'6" about at that time.
Yeah.
So you were a 6'6" long jumper. That's a little unusual, isn't it, or no?
Yeah. Most guys were like barely 6'2", 6'1".
Right. Okay.
So yeah. So obviously I had to work on my flexibility. That was hard.
Right. So, and I want to talk about handball real quick. Are we talking about the handball that we play in this country, where it's like you use your hand to smack the ball against the wall? No. It's a different handball.
Yeah, it's like it's a mixture of basketball and soccer.
Okay.
Where like you have the ball and you throw it around like the court. You're not allowed to walk with the ball. You have to like throw it to someone else and like get them open and throw it into soccer
goal. Right, exactly. I've seen that on TV.
Yeah.
That's actually a fascinating sport. And so you like basketball right away, or what did you think of basketball?
Initially, no, because I had like the mindset from doing track and field, like an individual mindset. So the team mindset was kind of like hard to get used to, like playing for the team and everything. And also I don't like doing like suicides as well.
Of course not.
So he did something today.
Yeah. So that's mainly why I delayed basketball so much. Yeah.
Okay. But he's been quite an addition, and I wanted to go back to your comment about he didn't start right away. He had to earn it. But once he earned it, and you inserted him, Dan, into the starting lineup, was about when the America East Conference season started last year. He ended up being all-rookie in the conference. That was quite an insertion on your part, I must say.
Yeah, and he earned it. I mean, it was clear in practice, at that point, that what he could provide our team with. And, certainly... You have to put the pieces together. They have to fit, really well. Everybody doesn't do the exact same thing. Each player has a role, and Dan understood his role. All right, he played hard. He rebounded. He defended. A lot of times, the other team's best interior player. Mm-hmm. He knew his job was to free up, our guards and be ready to catch and finish. When they chose to give it to him at times, and that's what great players do. They understand how to champion their individual role for the good of the team. And that's what he did. And now he's going to be rewarded for that, going forward. His role will increase, Every year that goes by, Dan's going to improve, his skill level. He already has. I think we've seen it in the short, amount of games that he's played this year, his ability to score on the block. I noticed that at the end of last year. After the season ended, we were working, a lot in doing individuals, and we were playing a lot of one-on-one, and you could tell he was developing, his go-to moves inside, and he's always been a physical guy, and a guy that's not afraid of contact. And you got to have that if you want to play in the post.
Right. So were you following college basketball when you were American college basketball when you were in England?
Not really, because the showing of it is really brief. They only show the top 25 teams.
Right.
So outside of mid-major, not really, no.
So this may sound like a silly question, but were you fully aware of the monumental achievement that UMBC was able to do last year against Virginia, coming into that tournament?
I mean, once after my teammates had told me what happened after the game, yeah.
After the game.
After the game, yeah. Because obviously I didn't really understand the whole seeding thing. So the 1 seed, 16 seed.
Right. And you didn't understand that.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I was totally surprised that I know a 16 seed has never been a 1 seed. So
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's one of the reasons we won, probably. You just go in
just
blind.
Go and play.
It's like,
right.
hey,
exactly.
Just another game.
Exactly.
Honestly, that's what you want to do. You want it to be just another game.
Right.
It's we're supposed to win.
Right. So there's another player, RJ Idlerock. You actually referred to him a minute ago, who I guess played in the same school that you did.
Yeah.
So you guys were teammates. You guys knew each other.
Yeah, we did. Yeah.
Okay. So when you went to see Dan, did you know about RJ?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I watched
so you would see him
RJ
both.
as well. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and then RJ, we didn't have scholarships at that point, and so we wanted to make sure that he was set, and he ended up coming over here and going to prep school for a year. And then decided, once he came and visited, decided that UMBC was a good option for him as well. Obviously, he knew Dan at that point. And we needed a guard, for our team as well. And RJ, he had an injury as well in last year while he was at Petty School and messed up his knee and, gained a lot of weight, didn't he? I mean, he didn't look like the same guy when you first saw him, did he? Yeah, and then he's lost it now. I mean, now he's finally gotten to the point where he's back to, kind of what his playing weight was in high school, which has been good to see. But tell me a funny story about RJ. Anything that you want to add about RJ?
A funny story about RJ.
Anything funny?
Put him on the spot.
Yeah.
Nothing? Who's the funniest guy on the team?
Funniest guy on the team? I feel like Brandon thinks he is, but I think naturally funny, maybe Nolan, because he would say
Nolan
something.
is definitely funny.
And it would be pretty funny. Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
How many hairstyles has Nolan gone through over the last couple of years?
The short amount of time I've been here, it's been a few. Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
He
Absolutely.
keeps dyeing it a different color.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Hey, was going to ask you, as far as basketball is concerned in this country, right? You started playing basketball in England.
Okay.
Is there a big difference between European-style basketball and American-style basketball?
I would say the pace is different. So out here it's a lot faster, and obviously here the physicality is a lot it's more physical here. I think that's probably about it, yeah.
So is there any worry on your part when you go to England or wherever you may go to recruit? Is there any worry on your part that the styles are different, that they may not?
Not really. No. I mean, we have a global game now.
Right.
The three-point shot is really important.
Right.
Here, it's important in high school. It's important in middle school. It's important overseas. And so I think because of that, kids grow up at a younger age playing our game. And it's refreshing to see the players are getting better and better. You look no further than the rookie, perceived rookie of the year.
Oh, absolutely.
Luka Doncic.
Right.
I mean, that guy's ridiculous. And,
right.
I think it is a global game and one that we'll continue to see. Get even better because of the foreign invasion of foreign talent. Here in the States, and Dan's a great example of that.
Final question: can you compare, or how does America compare to England? Are they comparable? What's different about the two?
He eats lots of vegetables, and so I've never seen a guy that looks like this that never eats
one
a vegetable. Won't eat one.
And you didn't eat vegetables in England?
No,
Do they have vegetables in England?
Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
But
right?
my theory is if it's anything green, I can't eat it.
So what do you eat?
Just anything that isn't green.
Anything that isn't green.
Yeah.
Okay, like pasta.
Yeah, a lot of pasta.
Meat.
A lot of meat stuff,
okay. Yeah.
His favorite place is Nando's.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. Mac and cheese?
I'm not a fan of mac and cheese.
Oh, not
really,
a fan of
no.
mac and cheese. Okay, interesting.
What's the worst food? What's the worst American food?
The worst American food?
Yeah, that you would say, I'm not eating that.
That's not green.
That's not green.
Yeah, it's not, because you know that's not
obviously green.
Me personally, mac and cheese would be one.
Really?
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Or like a Philly cheesesteak. I'm not really a fan of that either.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
So do I see a cheese connection here, or?
It could be, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you don't want to go to Philly and eat a Philly cheesesteak. So if you play Penn at the Palestra, you're not going for a Philly cheesesteak before the game.
No.
No. Okay.
So did you not eat the one we got you at St. Joe's? Probably not.
No, I don't think I did, no.
Okay, interesting. Hey, it's been a pleasure.
Thank you.
And it's been a pleasure watching you play.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Thank you so much. Coach, great job as always. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yep.
Good job, Dan.
Yep. That'll do it. That is it for the UMBC Ryan Odom Coaches Report. Gary Stein, Ryan Odom, Dan Ocken. We'll be back next week with more. Thanks so much for watching.